Thank you so much for joining me on the way forward. My name is Eddie Francis, of course, but his name, the gentleman who is joining me, is Dr. Jim Carlson. He is the Chancellor of Northshore Technical Community College, one exit away from me. And so
Go
I'm
for it.
very happy, Chancellor Carlson, to have you on the way forward. How's everything going for you?
Everything's going great. NTCC is in their middle of the summer semester, so we're really enjoying having students on campus. And quite honestly, we've had a resurgence of summer enrollment this summer because we're up 14% from last summer. So that's good to see.
So I want to come back to that actually.
Sure.
So first of all, let's talk about it. And I start my interviews with all of the presidents and the chancellors this way. And so let's talk about NTCC. How would you describe your impact on southeastern Louisiana?
So I think we have pretty well. North Shore Technical Community College is ironically a new community college in terms of being a community college. We used to be part of the Louisiana Technical College system, which was our Greensburg campus, our Hammond campus, and our Bogalusa campus. But back in 2011, the legislators did a survey to see if we were properly serving the folks on the North Shore properly. And it came back in 2012 and decided to create North Shore Technical Community College. And we added our Lacombe campus and our campus over in Livingston Parish and Walker and became a community college in addition to our long history of being a technical college. So a couple years ago, we became fully SACS accredited, and we just actually did our first 5 year reaffirmation with SACS COC. So we are a fully comprehensive community college that serves the 5 parishes of the North Shore region. So St. Tammany, Washington, St. Helena, Tangipahoa, and Livingston Parish. We have 5 campuses in those 5 parishes, and we have just over 6,000 students last fall, which made us, by total head count, the third largest community college in Louisiana behind Delgado and Baton Rouge Community College. So it tells you, one, that we are the kind of the driving force, not just economically for this region, but we're also a driving force for people's social mobility as they come to our institution and get either adult education, industry certifications, or even all the way up to an associate's degree to help further their career. And that's really what our job is a community college, is to help people go from where they are today to where they want to be. And I tell people all the time, it could be as short as one day. Come in and take a certification. For example, you can become forklift operator certified in one day, or it could be 2.5 years and become associate's degree registered nurse and go and work at one of our local healthcare systems.
So I really want to come back to this 14% increase. To what do you attribute the increase?
I think it's kind of based off of a lot of factors. One, we try to be very uh, nimble in sense of finding programming that fits the local needs of our region. So we have 2 new programs recently that were added, which is the RN, Associate's Degree in Registered Nursing, which is the first time they've ever had one on the North Shore at the associate's level. Prior to us, you had to go over across the bridge to Delgado to get your registered nursing degree at the associate's level. Now you can do BSN, obviously locally at Southeastern, but we were missing that kind of gap. So that's driven a lot of general education courses for people to take in order to get into one of the ASN program cohorts. And then the other side of that is we have a new degree in advanced manufacturing. And advanced manufacturing is a big thing that's going on along the I-12 corridor because with the new port coming into St. Bernard Parish, I-12 serves as a very good spot for a lot of supply chain logistics corporations to come to town. And we are trying to make sure that we're ready for that when that happens, such as an example in Pearl River. Just, I think, one more exit from you, they have the new Agile cold storage facility, which is an amazing facility where they essentially flash freeze food that's shipped all across the world. And they do it all based off of a new technology that was created back in, I want to say, about 5 years ago. The company's out of Atlanta, but they brought a facility over here to Pearl River, and they supply pretty much all of the frozen chicken from the United States to across the world without using any energy during the shipping process. So basically, because it's frozen at such a low temperature and it stays cold together, they don't have to have the cost of generators keeping it cold during the entire transportation. So it's totally changed the industry.
Wow. Okay.
So
So
crazy technology.
it is. But what's even to me what's even more impressive is, and I mean the legislature is to be congratulated on this because now you're talking about filling a tremendous need in a pretty critical and a fast growing area of the state. I mean, the North Shore. With my living in St. Tammany as well, I mean, we keep seeing the moving trucks coming into the North Shore and the subdivisions that are being developed here. And and you just reminded me of something. My son was in this program a couple of years ago, and it was this Botillion program, and all these students were talking about where they were going to college. And this one student said, "Well, I'm going to get started at North Shore Technical Community College." And I remember a couple of people going, "Where is that?" And I was going, "Oh yeah, that's Lacombe. I know exactly where it is." And so I thought that was great, though. I thought it was great for everyone to hear him talk about this college that not that many people knew about in that particular circle. And so for him to very confidently say, "Oh yeah, that's where I'm going to go, and that's where I'm going to get started." And so I should have kept up with that kid to see what he's up to these days. But so talk a little bit more about some of the programs, the academic programs that North Shore Technical Community College specializes in.
So, in our college, we have a kind of a vast array of opportunities, but we focus, I would say, probably in five areas if it makes it easier to kind of grasp for the listeners. And one is dual enrollment. So, dual enrollment is an opportunity for our high school students to be able to be exposed to college opportunities while they're still in high school, and they earn college credit towards their high school diploma, as well as they can take it with them and begin their college experience with some of those credits taken care of already. What that tells you is that in the five parish region of where we cover in the North Shore, we have over 2,900 dual enrollment students, which we're the largest provider of dual enrollment for all the LCTCS colleges. And they get a head start and help save money for the parents and for the families as that student tries to go on to the next level. But I always try to tell people too that the real benefit, in my personal opinion, of dual enrollment is you can start deciding what you like and what you don't want to do for the rest of your life before it becomes an expensive endeavor. And I believe that's a great opportunity for kids to be able to get the opportunity to see what's out there and then also have the opportunity to pivot without it being detrimental to them financially once they get to the college. The second thing I was going to mention is our transfer program. So we have three, what we call the Louisiana transfer degrees. They are Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, and Associate of General Studies. And those can be transferable to anywhere in the state or beyond. We are SAC COC accredited, so that's the Southern Regional Accrediting Body for all colleges and universities. So in theory, you could go from North Shore to Southeastern, or you could go from North Shore to Harvard. I mean, the opportunity is there for upward mobility for people once they go and take their associate's level of the general studies programs that we offer. One thing that's very neat about the university pathway opportunity that we have that no other LCTCS college has at this point is what we call direct connect to Southeastern. So in addition to our five campuses that we actually have a site on Southeastern's campus called the North Campus. So if you proximity wise, it's next to the University Center where the basketball team would play, and a lot of people graduate, their high school graduations are there. That building next door is where we offer the Direct Connect program, where you can get your associate's degree in arts, sciences, or general studies through North Shore, but you can take your classes at Southeastern's location. So it's a great opportunity to be exposed to kind of a university experience, but you still have the smaller classrooms and teaching of a community college. And it kind of gives you the opportunity to like dip your toe into it a little bit as you get ready to take that endeavor of higher education, which means, for some of the students that come from smaller schools, it's a little less scary, when you can have classes with 25 people as opposed to 400, you might have with your introductory Western civilization class, which you might find at a typical larger university. Our third bucket I would tell people is our healthcare and nursing programs. So, healthcare and nursing is a big portion of what we do here. We have probably at any given time, we've got double digit cohorts of nursing going on between our practical nursing and our associate's degree in registered nursing. In addition, we have medical assistant, we have patient care technician, we've got pharmacy tech, and we also have what they call PCT, patient care technician. So there's a variety of people, a variety of chances for people to get into the healthcare industry, and they have that upward mobility as they go along. Because I was not aware of this when I went to college, that you could start off, let's say, as a PN, and then you could become a PN in the work environment, go back to school, go up to RN, go back to school, become a nurse practitioner or a nurse anesthetist, or even further. So the upward mobility in healthcare is huge, and it comes off of the opportunities that we offer here to be able to get people started at a good starting point for them, where they're ready to begin not only understanding what the healthcare environment's like, but the opportunity to grow from within as they get their experience underneath them, as well as earn money for themselves and their family, which is not always the case. Sometimes you have to go to college for 8, 10, 12 years before you
Yeah.
start making any money. And that's not always easy to do for people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
no. And yeah, I definitely want you to continue with your buckets. But one thing I wanted to point out is the relationship between North Shore and SLU,
Mhm.
which is critical. It seems, especially in this part of the state. And I did get the opportunity to talk to President Wainwright,
Yes.
and so I know that relationship is very critical for this part of the state. But please continue, because I think you had another bucket or two to cover.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, just to elaborate on with Dr. Wainwright, he was our first and only chancellor prior to me at North Shore. So, certainly having that relationship with him makes these barriers a little easier. And he did a great job of going over to Southeastern and letting them know that, like, our opportunity to grow as a university can come through that transfer area where no one ever focuses on in Louisiana prior to his arrival. It was always the 18-year-old freshmen that are coming out of high school. And, that is a certain segment of the population, but it's not the only segment of the population. So I think he's been able to help them transition their recruiting efforts. And it's really showing on their end how their recruiting has gone up because they're focusing on students beyond the traditional 18-year-olds. But the other buckets I was going to mention in terms of our program is our what we call technical and workforce programs. So those are more along the lines of diesel technology, advanced manufacturing, information technology, automotive. There's so many opportunities that are available for students to come in and earn a high wage, high demand job in a 2-year period. It's really mind blowing when you really think about it. And if they're entrepreneurial beyond the skill set, really the sky's the limit for them. If you want to get in and start off as an HVAC technician, I don't know about you, but I had to get a new HVAC handler system put in my house a week and a half ago, and it was it wasn't the best news I heard of the day, for sure.
No.
So I know that those people are doing well, and but the same thing could go for a welder or an electrician. I mean, not only having that skill set, but if you start a small business, I mean, the sky's the limit, because those are things that are always needed in every community, no matter where you live. And then the final group I was just going to mention was our adult education, and we also have a youth build program. And these are people who have not earned their high school degrees yet, and they have a chance to go back and earn their high school equivalency. We call it the high set. Louisiana is actually bringing back the GED. I believe we'll probably start it in January in addition. So you'll have either option. And people always ask, what is the difference between the two? There really is no difference other than I kind of equate it to the ACT versus the SAT. It's the same outcome, but it's just a different test for that outcome, which is to earn the equivalency of a high school diploma. And then the Youth Build program focuses a lot on uh, kind of a second chance for people who not only need their high school diploma, but also want to get a skill set to become work eligible. So it's a Department of Labor grant that we've had here since I want to say 1998 was the first year Northshore got it, but it's called Youth Build Bogalusa. And those students not only earn their high school equivalency, but they also earn construction trade certifications and credits to be able to help rebuild America. And that's why it was named Youth Build originally. It was driven from that. But they do offer some other opportunities if people want to get into healthcare or some other sectors. That is an option for them. But those are great programs because we have a large number of people in Louisiana who have not earned a high school diploma at a working age. And if it's, yeah, you can get employed, but your upward trajectory is very, very low if you don't at least hit that minimum threshold of a high set or GED. So we try to help them do that first and then work with them on the workforce side and say, oh, how about another, industry-based certification that can get you this job or that job from there. So it's a place where we begin, but it's not where we end. It's kind of our launching pad for them to overcome whatever hurdle they have found themselves in.
You're listening to The Way Forward. I'm Eddie Francis, and we are speaking to Dr. Jim Carlson. He's the Chancellor of Northshore Technical Community College. And Dr. Carlson, one of the questions that I have been asking presidents and chancellors is about alumni and the impact of alumni. Now, we know that NTC is a bit young right now, but if you were to take a look at your alumni, how would you describe the value that they deliver to communities?
Yeah, so I look at alumni in a little different lens because even though we're relatively new as a community college, we do have our roots all the way back to 1930. So the Sullivan campus of North Shore Technical Community College was the Sullivan Memorial Trade School originally, which was the first public trade school in the state of Louisiana. So in 5 years, we're actually going to have a 100-year anniversary of that campus. And so we do have an immense amount of alumni out there. I value our alumni not only because they're providing the local workforce for our local areas, industry and healthcare sectors and teachers and you name it, but they're also our top marketing folks because when they share their story with someone else, that does so much more than for us to run an advertisement on a local TV station or a Facebook ad or whatever the situation may be, because they can see tangibly how someone went to our college, did something to help themselves as well as help their families get to where they wanted to be. And to me, that's really the best value of alumni. So engaging them on industry, so each one of our technical and healthcare programs, we have what we call advisory boards. So we bring them in annually and we try to have alumni involved in that because they're not only have the experience of taking our programs, but they also have the experience of what that sector needs for the new graduates of today. Because as you know, some of our technology advances so fast, you want to make sure our programming is keeping up with it. And certainly with AI, that's totally changed the trajectory of a lot of what we do, just, in society in general. But our alumni, I feel like are a very important part. And so I want to say it was in 2019, we launched during commencement, we give out 2 alumni awards. I talked to Dr. Wainwright and I convinced him, let's kick off an alumni association. Let's give out a Young Alumnus Award and a Distinguished Alumnus Award. So we just awarded our 6th iteration of that this last spring at commencement. And we had a young lady, Kasaya Trapande was our young alumnus of this year, and she has gone on to do a ton of things. I mean, including New York Fashion Week. So she's gone from our business office program to a local celebrity, and then we have our distinguished alumni. Shay, he was a LPN graduate up at our Greensburg campus back in the early 2000s, and he is now a nurse practitioner serving his home community in Kentwood and doing a phenomenal job helping provide health care to his hometown. So those are what we're trying to do. We're trying to share their stories, but I hope their stories are also helping, invigorate other people to create their own path through North Shore.
So I like to end interviews by asking presidents and chancellors the way forward so that the community can get more involved. And so for you, how would you like to see the community get more involved with North Shore Technical, especially with all of the campuses that are around? What kinds of programs? How can folks get more involved and get more engaged with the college?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really there's a few opportunities that most people are engaged with our college moving, the way forward. And first of all, thanks for having me on the show because I know this is a great opportunity to share what we do here at North Shore Technical Community College. But I think partnerships is kind of the first part for us because developing partnerships with our community allows us to provide things like internships, job opportunities for our graduates, potentially provide scholarships for our students through our foundation. There's just so many ways you can get involved by partnering with the local community college, and not just North Shore, whichever college is in your local community. I would urge people to do that. Second is just kind of be participatory. So, for example, anywhere from helping advance the understanding of what we have to offer, let's say through adult education, workforce, or the traditional side, help participate in various things that are going on at a college. Sometimes it's panel discussion, sometimes it's healthcare fairs, job or career fairs. Come out and help share what you do, so our students will know what to prepare for on the other side of a college education. And then I think third is just helping us promote. Word of mouth is the best marketing we could ever have. I always told Dr. Wainwright when he was our chancellor, I was like, we're only one Super Bowl commercial away from being relevant, and he always laughed at me, but it was true. It was like, because it seemed like I would tell 100 people a day about North Shore Technical Community College, and then I could walk down my street in Mandeville, and people would not know that I'm a chancellor of North Shore, and two, that we even have a community college. So it was one of those things that it's really a very good secret, but it's a secret that we need to let other people know about
Yeah.
because the opportunities are available to help people. And that's what we're here for. We're in the business of helping people, and that looks so different every single day because every person comes in with a different circumstance.
Yeah, yeah, and one of the pieces of conversation that I had with Quentin Taylor from River
Mhm.
Parish is that one of the things I really appreciate about two-year colleges is how straightforward the solutions are. A lot of times, like there's a way that you directly address what is needed in communities and what needs to happen in communities. And again, I just it hit me as I was putting this segment together. It hit me how important it is to have North Shore Technical Community College located where it is, and then
Mhm.
again to have that partnership with Southeastern Louisiana. So I definitely congratulate you, especially on the enrollment increases and even more enrollment increases to come, because I have a feeling that you're going to have to expand some facilities around there.
Yeah, we actually got some good news this past legislative session. So, through House Bill 2, we'll be getting a new diesel technology building up at the Bogalusa campus, or Sullivan campus in Bogalusa, which is huge because they haven't had a new facility up at that campus probably since the 80s. And
Yeah.
this is going to focus on one of their most popular, but also one of the most needed programs, and that is a diesel technician. There's not a lot of programs left in Louisiana, but the job opportunities are immense. Not only from your traditional heavy equipment, 18 wheelers, but also you got to think about all the generator diesel technology that's out
Yeah.
there, especially with our platforms and all of our, maritime opportunities that are around through certainly the workforce. But the other area that was huge for us is that they did Act 35, which was off of Senate Bill 72, but it's now Act 35 that they signed it. But it helps LCTCS recapture bond money from some previous funding opportunities to build new facilities. Technically, where we got our Lacombe campus and the Livingston campus, but that's going to be allocated for some new facilities as those get paid off. And that's going to allow us to have a new Hammond area campus in the near future on a new site, which was donated by our friends at North Oaks Health System. And so North Oaks Health System donated 15 acres of land. So we'll be building a brand new campus in the near future right off of Morrison Boulevard in Hammond. And that's going to be a fun endeavor because it's like, you only get one shot at building a brand new campus from the very beginning. So we want to make sure that we hit all the marks. So we're going to be doing lots of, just discussions with community members, business and industry to make sure that we're meeting the needs of not only the community today, but what we can anticipate for the next 50 years, because that's how old the current campus is right now.
Dr. Jim Carlson, he is the Chancellor of Northshore Technical Community College. Chancellor Carlson, thank you so much for joining me on the way forward.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.